guys, welcome back to Martin's Home and Garden Houseplant of the Week. This week we are talking about the gorgeous Philodendron hastatum, also called the silver sword philodendron. These plants are native to Brazil in the jungles. They are considered endangered in the wild due to habitat deconstruction, due to jungles, trees getting cut down. They have been kind of kept alive due to growers, cultivators, kind of reproducing this plant. That is why they're still here. That's why we're able to have them, but they are endangered in the wild, unfortunately. They are, however, super beautiful, one of the coolest looking varieties of philodendrons in my opinion. They have these super metallic, almost like silvery blue colored leaves that are sword shaped. They come out to this really cool like point at the ends that you don't always see in philodendrons. And there's not another philodendron that I know of that has this kind of color. I think it's super beautiful and super unique, and it really stands out in a houseplant collection. They're also considered kind of rare. Usually you see them only online, not really in plant stores, but we were able to find these for you guys. So if you're interested in these, come check them out. We're going to tell you a little bit of how to care for them today. The first thing we're going to talk about is lighting for these guys. They are used to a jungle canopy. They're used to getting kind of a dappled sunlight through the trees. So that means in a home environment, they're going to prefer a bright, indirect light. Avoid direct sun as much as possible. It will scorch and burn your plant's leaves and cause some discoloration, some crispiness of the leaves. They will tolerate lower light conditions, so it might be a good option for you if you don't have as much light in your home. However, with lower light conditions, they're not going to grow as fast. The new leaves are also going to be smaller in size, so it's best to give them a bright and direct light if you can. The next thing we'll talk about is watering. With these plants, they're actually one of the less picky varieties of philodendron when it comes to watering. They're going to be okay if you overwater them a little bit. If you like to baby your plants and you tend to overwater, these are going to be a good variety of philodendron if you've always wanted a philodendron but can't. So they do prefer to have the top 2 inches of soil dry out completely between waterings. But like I said, if you overwater them a couple times, they're going to be okay. They're not going to immediately drop dead on you. Although they are okay with overwatering a little bit, make sure your pots have a drainage hole in the bottom. That way all of the excess water has somewhere to go. Even though they are a little less sensitive to overwatering, they are not unable to get root rot. So make sure that excess water has somewhere to go. Your plant's roots are not sitting in water. We want to avoid root rot at all costs. It will kill your plant. So with watering, you do want to fertilize when your plant is actively growing. A good fertilizer for these guys is going to be this one. It's a 20-20-20 fertilizer. It's a Jack's Classic All-Purpose. You want to dilute this to half strength. They give you instructions on the back of how to dilute it. You want to dilute it to half of what it says on the back for these guys, just to make sure you're not over-fertilizing. You don't want to burn your plants with fertilizer. The next thing we're going to talk about is humidity for these guys. Again, they're very forgiving when it comes to humidity. They're not very picky, which makes them very good for home environments. They're going to be just fine with a typical humidity and temperature of your home. But if you are able to give them a little bit of extra humidity, it is going to kind of boost that growth. They're going to grow a little bit faster. Their leaf color will be a little bit more vibrant. Humidity also deters pests. We do have a video that we'll link right above me right here that explains a little bit more in detail why humidity is important and how you can further increase humidity in your home. You can use humidifiers. You can use little plant misters. We actually just got a bunch of plant misters in at Martin. Come and check them out. And you can use a pebble tray, which we show you how to make your own in that video. So go ahead and check it out. And the last thing we'll talk about today is the soil for these plants. Although they are, like I said, okay with a little bit of overwatering, it helps to have a super well draining soil just to prevent any kind of issues like root rot that could come from it. So a good soil mixture for these plants would be a regular indoor potting mix mixed with 1 part of sphagnum moss. This is the Fertilizer organic sphagnum peat moss mixed with 1 part of that, and then orchid bark is really good to add in there as well, just to add some extra drainage and to kind of mimic their natural habitat and soil that they would have in the jungle. So mix 1 part indoor soil mix, 1 part of the peat moss, and then 1 part of the orchid mix. This is the Espoma organic orchid mix that we have here at Martin's. Another thing is whenever you go to repot these, as they get bigger, they tend to get a little top heavy and they kind of droop over. That's not the look for everybody. In their natural environment, they grow along the sides of trees. It kind of props them up a little bit. So these do have a really cool look if you decide to kind of pot them against like a moss pole or a trellis, or even like a little wood stake if you have one. They will grow up along the side of that, and you can train them to grow like they would in the wild, which is a really cool look instead of them kind of slumping over. So that is all that we have to talk about today. Come and check these guys out while we still have them. They are super beautiful and one of my favorites. It's Martin's birthday. We are turning 40 this year, and to celebrate this coming Saturday, we're gonna have a lot of cool stuff going on at Martin's. But for us, all houseplants are going to be 25% off Saturday only to celebrate Martin's 40th anniversary. So come and check us out. Come see everything that we have to offer. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.